Kristie was my daughter, and she was 7 years old when she died of leukemia. She was so full of life. She loved dressing up like most other little girls and prancing around the house in her high-heeled shoes. And when she lost her hair to chemo, she asked us to spray paint her head in different colors. And even when she wore her little nightgowns, she would accessorize everything with earrings and lipstick, and she'd even put a belt on her nightgowns. So she was like most other little girls, but just so full of life.
She was diagnosed December 17th of '06 with a brainstem glioma. They told us without treatment she wouldn't survive more than 3 weeks. And with treatment, we would get maybe 12 months. And that was over 2 years ago. And she's the first patient here that's lived that long.
Normally in a cystic fibrosis situation, they don't get this sick until they're in their late 20s, early 30s. She is at the end stage of the illness, unfortunately. In the last year or so, she's been hospitalized probably more than she's been at home.
Chris is in maintenance and he's doing a lot better. He's had a very difficult time with chemotherapy because he had some other issues. He has Down syndrome, and he was born with a lot of intestinal problems. Something called, bless you, something called Hirschsprung's disease.
Jillian is a 23-week preemie, and she suffers from lots of shunt malfunctions. She's had 41 surgeries on her head, and so we live in and out of the hospital. She's been going through a lot lately, so she's been pretty sick.
I'm in the real estate industry. You know, I've got to really be out there so much more. And, you know, when he gets admitted into the hospital, you know, a few days or a week or a month, you know, it's like I've got to totally like switch gears and become the dad and the mom. And
Kristie's foundation in general has been a huge support for our family. Even when we're in the hospital, and having a familiar face from a staff or volunteer member coming and visiting us.
As a single parent with 4 kids, it's, you know, you can't work when you have one that's in the doctor's 3 days a week, and so they help out with, you know, the grocery cards and the gift cards and gas cards.
Taking care of a critically ill child is overwhelming. And a lot of families just need a break. They need to be able to come to a place where we can help them care for that child.
A lot of kids are in the hospital having their symptoms managed, and there comes a time when they would prefer to be at home. For some families, that really isn't a good option. They feel like they can't handle the medications or the round-the-clock nursing care that some kids do require as it gets closer to the end of their life.
A place where those patients could go from the hospital, instead of going home, going to a more home-like environment, that is what Kristie's place would be.
There's going to come a point that he is, you know, going to die, and, you know, I don't think I would want to be alone.
After Kristie died, I realized that there was a huge need, and other families needed support, and because of her love of life and her end-of-life experience, I wanted to reach out to other families going through this. Oh. This little guy Angel used to love to come to the office for ice cream. This was my most memorable child that came through our program. And she was in a hospice program, and we knew she had very limited time, and her family needed quite a bit of help. But one of the things Angelica wanted was to meet Snow White. Her dad called me the next day and told me that his baby had died, but he said he couldn't thank us enough because she had died holding on to all the pictures that we had given her of her special day with Snow White, of her special time.
The hospital, as good as it is and as well as they try to help these kids, it's still the hospital. And they come in the middle of the night to do their medical things, and they wake them up, so their sleep patterns are changed. They're constantly being reminded that they're sick, which I personally think is probably the most beneficial part of being at home is that she's in her normal environment at home.
Because being in the hospital, you just sit there and lay in bed and just die. And when you can be at Kristie's place and get taken care of and play games and do activities and interact with other kids, and that would be a good thing.
When we stop putting them in the hospital, keep them in their home environment or have them in a home-like place, like Kristie's place would be, then their health actually improves and their ability to do things gets better.
At Kristie's place, we will hire the very best people we can find that specialize in pain and symptom management, so that these children do not have to suffer and parents don't have to worry.
It's hard for anybody to deal with a child dying, including clinicians and oncologists, people who deal with it all the time. It's still hard for them to give up that fight and to transition into an avenue of, okay, we're going to control the symptoms and we're going to give them the best quality, maybe not the best quantity.
There are new ways and new medications that are working with these kids. They give them something that brings them up, and they give them pain control so they're able to enjoy their final days.
And a hospice house, a home where children, where it's just kids, can come and live out their last moments, where a family can be at peace. They have a peace in their minds that their children will be medically taken care of, but they will be loved and they will be supported through this process. And they are not left to fall through cracks in the system.
It's getting harder for us. She's just had so many surgeries, and it's just kind of feel like we're fighting a battle that's just not, getting better.
I think it would be so nice to have a place where everybody's going through the same thing and everybody can be there to support each other.
At Kristie's place, it will be filled with life. We will really work on helping families make the most of every single moment their child's alive.
And they can live and do whatever they want to do because they only have a few weeks left, and let them be kids and let them live what final moments they have in happiness, in dignity, and bring the family together because they only have so much time with their child. And if we squander it by letting these families get lost in systems and by making them feel like they have to play as nurses, then we've wasted time, time that this family should have with their children.
I do not like them here or there. I do not like them anywhere. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam.